is up. Listen, y'all get up in here real quick. Man. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come up in here. Make sure you hit the like button when y'all come up in here. Yeah, not surprised at all. NFL crazy work. Right. Yeah, prayers up for Tank too. This is the reason why I really wanted the number seed. Because I believe Kansas City was going to get the number 1 seed. And I wanted to hold off from going into Kansas City up into the AFC Championship game. I didn't want to go into Kansas City, not because I'm afraid of the Chiefs, is that you're not going to beat KC in KC. Luckily, they got to win their last 2 games. They got to win one of their last 2, and they both on the road. So hopefully, hopefully Buffalo gets that number 1 seed, because I really hope Buffalo gets the number 1 seed now, because they tiebreak over them. You're not beating Kansas City in Kansas City. You're just not. Not because they're just this great team. Do not build. You can't. You're not beating Kansas City because the refs ain't you beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Like they I heard today talking about the refs. Anytime a play happened, the refs got the rule book waiting. They got the rule book right there waiting for a play ready to call up on for Kansas City. But Texans fall on this Saturday night or Saturday afternoon game 27-19 to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this basically seals them not getting the number 3 seed. I think this seals them at the number 4 seed. Technically, they still have a shot if they win their last 2 games and Pittsburgh loses to their last 3. They technically can still get the number 3 seed. If that Pittsburgh plays Baltimore tonight. They play Baltimore tonight. They play Kansas City they host Kansas City on Christmas Day, and then they end off the season, I think, against the Bengals. So if they lose 2 of the games and the Texans if they lose 2 of the games and the Texans win out, the Texans can get the number 3 seed. I just don't think that Kansas City Kansas City. I don't think they're going to lose to those games. So I think the Texans are going to stay at the number 4 seed. I think the Texans are going to stay at the number 4 seed, which means, especially if KC gets the number 1 seed, even if you win that wild card game, you're going back here. You're going back here to KC again in the playoffs. And that's not a recipe for success. And shout out to that boy Chris Chad Love. Definitely appreciate that. It's the Texas screenplays versus the rest. It's the Texas screenplays versus the rest. I'm not gonna say the last part, but shout out to Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Talking about the Texas screenplays versus the rest. I mean, hey, them refs, man. Like I said, bro, them refs were terrible. Like them refs was terrible. Them refs was bad. Forget getting into the numbers. We ain't really got to get into the numbers because it wasn't like it was just crazy out there. Let's get into the refs. Because normally, you know me, I don't never talking about no refs. Never. I don't think I've ever came out talking about the refs. But we've been seeing it all year long when it comes to KC, and I never really said too much about it. But we've been seeing it all year long that the refs definitely have some very peculiar plays, and they'll call some peculiar flags against the opposing teams. And again, I've had to talk about bad calls because bad calls happen all the time. But these are just completely egregious, like things that don't make no sense. The first one, they take a touchdown off the board. Now, granted, it might have been going forward, so they probably would have ended up reversing to an incomplete pass. Roughing the passer was straight up bull. That was a complete bull play because Barnett was pushed in. Yes, he is swiping He is swiping to try to get the sack. He is swiping at the football, but Barnett is pushed into him, and that's how he hits him in the head. He didn't go out and hit him in the head. He completely got pushed into him. Calling that, but that wasn't even the worst one. That wasn't even the worst one. Cause I'm gonna get to the worst one. And on the play when Xavier Worthy gets a first down and he gets a catch on Stingley. When that play happened, I'm like, oh wait, something had to happen for Stingley to get called on by Worthy. I don't know if maybe Stingley switched on them late. It was a late switch. He switched on late. Stingley slipped. Something has happened, and then they show the play, and they clearly show Hopkins push up. They clearly show Hopkins push up against him. Basically, moved Stingley. It was a rub route, but he actually moves Stingley out of the way. He basically moves Stingley. He basically moves Stingley out of the way, and when he moves Stingley out of the way, it hurts Stingley able to get to Xavier Worthy. So that's why Xavier Worthy was able to catch and able to get the first down. But they ain't called that. Okay, cool. You ain't called that. That's still not the worst one. The worst one is when the Texans are moving, have an offensive drive going in the first half. They call this phantom of offensive pass interference or offensive whatever they call on Tank when Tank ain't one nowhere. Tank didn't touch the DB. Just completely tried to move us back. Completely stalling out our drive. Cause I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that's when CJ throws the second interception. I think that's the same drive when CJ throws the second interception, if I'm not mistaken. But just completely make sure that because we already in field goal range, so they're knocking us back. So they try. So just all these egregious plays. Then on their end, there's a hole on Danielle Hunter. They don't call that, but then they call on Stingley that's away from the football when Danielle Hunter is sitting there getting wrapped up like this, trying to get the Patrick Mahomes right there in front. The ref is right here. The ref is right there. Nothing. Man, you're not going to beat Kansas City in Kansas City, man. They're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to call. They're going to find a way. They just are. They're just going to find a way. Let's get into the numbers. Texans lose 27 to 19. CJ was 23 of 39 for 59%, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, bad interceptions, 2 sacks, 2 bad sacks, and a quarterback of 73%. Joe Mixon carried the ball 4 times, had 57 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry. Tank Dell was targeted 7 times, had 6 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown that he got hurt on. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Nico Collins was targeted 10 times, had 7 catches for 60 yards. Dalton Schultz was targeted 8 times, had 5 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes was 28 of 41 for 68%, 260 yards, a touchdown, and then 33 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. Kareem Hunt carried the ball 11 times at 55 yards for 55 yards and 1 touchdown. Xavier Worthy was targeted 11 times, had 7 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. P-Line was targeted 3 times. I think had 3 catches for 50 yards and had a 36-yard reception that basically sealed the game. D-Hop targeted 4 times, had 4 catches for 37 yards, had a crucial first down. That was basically a very vintage D-Hop play on the Cuda when he comes back when it was thrown behind him on purpose. He comes back to the ball, catches it, and is able to get a first down. If I'm not mistaken, on their last, that was on that field goal drive when they kicked the field goal, get an 8-point game. And basically sealed the game. I know P-Line's play definitely was sealed the game. Like I said, CJ had 2 bad interception sacks. The first sack was the first sack of the game. Both sacks in the fourth quarter. And the first sack, he didn't even get hit. He runs out of bounds. And you got to get rid of football quicker than that, bro. Like, you have to make a decision quicker because he scrambled back and took a while and ended up running and ended up going out of bounds and ended up costing like 3 or 4 yards because he was behind the line of scrimmage. So, again, it's credit against the offensive line. But that was him running out of bounds. I mean, it happened to Tua this week. Tua was actually first sack of the game last week. Was Tua running out of bounds. That was the one that they gave half to Hunter, half to Todos. But that That sack because it was on the field goal drive. That's basically baked into you getting the field goal when you need a touchdown. You're down, I think, what was it, 24-16? You're down 24-16. We need that touchdown. We need that touch. We need that touchdown right there. We need that. We need that touchdown right there. So I see more people come up in here. I need likes. We need the likes too. We need that touchdown, but we also need the likes. So make sure you get the likes up, man. Appreciate that. But like I was saying, like we needed points on the board. Now, granted, we got the field goal, but we need a touchdown situation. You're not going to beat the city with field goals. You're not. You're not going to beat Kansas City field goals. And also, Kanye, I'm gonna need you to make some extra points as well, because when we able to get extra points and get field goals, we need to make the plays. So, but we need a touchdown right there, and that was just a bad sack. And then the last sack, that basically ended the game for the Texas offense. I tweeted out right before they drive. This was the moment. This was the moment right here. The game, the time, the stage, the drive, the moment right here, Jay, in Texas offense. This is the moment. Michael Jackson, this is time because it's not primetime time, but national stage against Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, at KC, at Arrowhead. You have the football down by 8. Go down there and put points on the board and put on them. And let's take this game to overtime and let's win this game. This is the moment you step up and become a franchise quarterback. This is the moment when you step up and you looked at, hey, I've arrived. All that sophomore slump stuff out the window. When I need it, I need you to step up. I need you to step up in this moment. That was your moment. You had one early this year at home against the Lions that you've actually made that situation, because you should have blew out the line 23-7 at halftime. You made that situation and made that when you had the ball going in, you should be able to drive in. I think Fairbairn missed the field goal, if I'm not mistaken. But you shouldn't even been in that situation. One, you shouldn't been in a situation scoreboard anyway. You should have been beating them by multiple possessions, but let alone you should have went out there and scored a touchdown. I digress. This one would have been an even bigger moment because it's on the road at Kansas City against the two-time defending Super Bowl champion, who you possibly will have to face in the playoffs if you want to get to the Super Bowl. And you more likely got to go to their building, especially now. This is your moment. This is your moment. And to go out there and have a 3 and out. You got 5 minutes left. You go out there and get 3 and out. I knew then that this is not good. The game is over. The game is over. The game is over. KC was going to do all the little things they do, and they're going to be able to milk their clock, which they and was able. Because they basically bait the defense. Hey, use up all the clocks real quick. Then we get a first down. Then we good. We Gucci. We Gucci. Because even if they didn't get a first down after the 2-minute warning, you're going to get the football with no down by 8 with like 40 seconds left. Generous. So they did exactly what they needed to do. They did exactly what they needed to do. They did exactly what they needed to do. Cause I know people let's talk about this Tank Dell touchdown and this Tank Dell injury. You knew it was over when Tank got hurt. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack with that play. To be honest with y'all, I blame. And I know he's been the whipping boy all season. But I blame Bobby Slowik. I see somebody's put it in. I blame Bobby Slowik for Tank Dell getting. Why are you having 2 receivers in deep concepts running deep routes into the end zone? They've both been there. That's the second time Tank has gotten hurt at the end of the season. Well, close to the end of the season. And it's like, why was this situation even occurring? Now, the first time, and actually both of them were touchdowns. But both times Tank Dell has gotten hurt for the season, he touchdown. Last year it was a touchdown for Mulder, if I'm not mistaken. It was a rushing touchdown. It was either a DP touchdown or if it was a called touchdown, Singletary. It was either a DP touchdown or Singletary. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, against Denver. I can't remember. It was a rushing touchdown. I don't remember it in the football. All I know is it was a rushing touchdown. Tank was in there blocking for some reason deep in the line. He was blocking deep inside, and scored. And like we scored the touchdown. Well, we scored a touchdown, but we lost Tank Dell for the year. The exact same thing happened today. This time it was Dale scoring. This time it was Tank scoring a touchdown, and a great job for Tank to get hurt immediately and know it immediately and never drop the football going to the ground. Like him catching the football, going to the ground, getting hit, and so that was actually a great job that we not talking about. It's a great job of Tank catching that football. Catching that, holding on to the football, not letting go of the football. And Tank was having, I know he had a 120-yard game against the Jets earlier this season. This was Tank Dell's best game of the year by far. By far. Tank was putting it on. Tank out there eating on. He was out there eating on KC defense. He was eating KC's defense lunch. He was eating KC barbecue, which I've never had KC barbecue. I heard a lot of bad things about it. Heard it wasn't good. But he was basically he was eating all that KC barbecue. He was eating it up. He was eating all that KC barbecue. He was out there dying, looking like the Tank Dell that we seen last year. We're like, okay, Tank is back. Tank is back. Hey, Tank is out here tonight. Like Tank is really out there playing. Tank is out here playing extremely well. And for him to get hurt, period, is bad. And then when you've been avoided, why did you have two receivers in that concept? Because you're bringing the other receivers defender, you're bringing the other receiver in that line of traffic to allow a bad play, not even an injury, just a bad play as far as a turnover stuff. That doesn't make any sense. And I know I can't forget number 14. I can't remember his name because again he hasn't played. Was it? I forgot. Hasn't played a lot this year. I don't remember his name. What? Yeah, Wade. Is exactly what it was. Wade. Like I want to blame. People want to blame him, but because it's either miscommunication or a bad route concept. I think it's the latter more than the former because initially you want to say, okay, well maybe he ain't been out here that long. You know what I'm saying? Ain't been on the field. It's probably a miscommunication. But the problem is we've seen this a lot this year of receivers around the same time, like around the same area. So it's either coached or allowed. One of the two is either being coached or being allowed. Either or falls back on Bobby. Either or. If Bobby's designing the plays like that, it's on Bobby. If it's not being corrected, it's on Bobby. He's the OC. And according to and the way D'Amico lets it go, he's basically the offensive side of the coach. Like the offensive football side of the coach. I know he's the OC, you just said that. No, like it's like D'Amico takes care of the defense and he lets Bobby Slowik handle everything on offense. He let Bobby Slowik handle everything on offense, personnel decisions, who out there on the field. He's not stepping up like, hey, nah, why? Hey, Sims done fumbled twice on punt returns. Why Sims out there running routes, running reverses? Sims ain't going nowhere out here. Sims ain't going nowhere near the field. So that shows me when he did that earlier this season and let Sims go out there off it after he muffed punts and stuff back to back, that he doesn't have control over the offense. Well, he doesn't look and see what's going on to the offense. And you see the same thing about comments after the Green Bay game when he said that he tried to get over to D'Amico to see what they were going to do in their last drive, but it just didn't work out. He wasn't able to get a chance. Like what? The head coach and the quarterback not talking right before a crucial drive that could seal against the Green Bay Packers on the road again also when CJ has been harassed and been getting beat up all game and hasn't thrown the football and threw football 80 yards and we not having the communication. We're not talking. So right there shows me and tells me that D'Amico, at least up to this point, just let the offense do what they do. He let Bobby and the offense just do exactly what they do. And that's a problem in itself. I digress. But my thing is this. Bobby is one or two. Either Bobby's coaching it or he's allowing it. Either or is bad, and that's why I put the onus on Bobby. And that is back-to-back seasons. Back-to-back seasons in Tank Dell's young career that we've went to the playoffs, but Tank finished the season. Tank can't finish the season. I talked about this before the offseason, that the Texans needed to go out there and get a weapon. As far as drafting a receiver, trading for a receiver. I made multiple videos talking about drafting receivers or trading receivers, put up multiple polls. about that. Hey, shout out Sarah for the super chat. She said, hey, take the super chat love. Hey, Merry Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Hey. But I appreciate the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. But like I was saying though, um, you gotta make a decision. You gotta make a decision. And I know I talked about what you want to do as far as drafting a receiver or signing a receiver, trading for receivers, and we traded. We traded for Stephon Diggs. We traded for Stephon Diggs. I was okay with the Stephon Diggs trade. I would have preferred to get another receiver, but hey, Stephon's cool. I actually would have preferred to draft a receiver, honestly. To be honest with you, my preference was always to draft a receiver. Now the receivers draft haven't really they haven't played like how the receivers last year's draft, like how Tank was looking last year. Like we haven't seen that out of Worthy, out of Xavier Leggett, out of Kenyon, not Kenyon, for Buffalo Bills. I can't think of his name. Keyshawn. Like we haven't seen it out of these receivers. Same thing with Roma Dunze. Marv really ain't really been doing that too much this year. The best one I think they've been playing so well. Playing what you call it was is Thomas. Not is it Thomas? Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. out there in Jacksonville, but he's in Jacksonville. But so the receivers this year just haven't really been just out there overpowering. But I ain't got no problem when we got Stephon Diggs. But my point was that you didn't want to be in the situation where any point randomly in the year, CJ was out there with no receiving help because both Tank and Nico last year, and Nico his whole career, has missed time. Well, we missed Nico for 5 games this year, and I think that Nico in the league. Nico missed 5 games this season. Tank actually missed a game earlier this year. He missed, I think, what game was that? I think it was the Jacksonville game. He missed the Jacksonville game earlier this year. Now he's out for the season. All the talk about offensive lines and things like that. I think not to get too far in the weeds and too much about next year. Uh, I think receiver has jumped tremendously to the top of the board of needs for the Texans offense. Like I think it was something that we've already talked about anyway because people are thinking that hey, Stephon Diggs more than likely is not coming back. Like the Stephon Diggs is not coming back. So it was already on point. We're gonna go out there and probably make a play for a receiver. More so now than ever, we're gonna have to go out there and make a play for a receiver. And probably I feel like we're going to do it twice. I think that we're going to make an offseason move and also receiver high. So I don't know. I mean, I know it was talks about Gary Wilson. I seen put in get Gary Wilson off season. I think so. I mean, I think Gary Wilson is on the table. I think who else is a receiver that could be on the move? I definitely think that Gary Wilson, if the Jets are willing to move on from Gary Wilson could and should be on the table. If you T Higgins, now because T Higgins you're gonna have to pay, you're gonna have to trade for T. More than likely you have to trade for T and pay T, or you just got to pay T, and you already paying Nico, even though you're paying Nico cheaply. And I mean, you do have the money because you don't have to pay CJ for a while. I don't know. I'd rather go. I think Gary Wilson's a better receiver than I think Gary Wilson's a better receiver. Again, you got to pay for Gary Wilson too. Wilson would be in his 3rd year because this is Gary Wilson's. No, this is Gary Wilson's 3rd year. Gary Wilson came out the year before CJ. Yeah, so this is Gary Wilson's 3rd year. So you have Gary Wilson next year, and you have him as 5th-year option. So actually, you have to trade. Actually, you would have to trade for Gary Wilson and pay him. Like you have to trade for him and pay him because you're going to more likely to get Gary Wilson. You're going to give up a 1st-round pick. So you're going to have to trade for Gary Wilson and pay him. You're going to trade for Gary Wilson and then pay him. I seen another. Trying to think who else. There was another receiver odds I seen. Cause I know I seen that it was us and Ken. If I'm mistaken. That was 1 and 2 for odds for Gary Wilson. There was another receiver. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I seen odds for that the Texans were up there for odds to get that receiver. I mean, I thought the Tigers could be a play that we could have got last year, but you got to pay for them. And I would rather pay Gary Wilson. But again, you also have to give up draft capital as well. So Gary Wilson would be your pick. If the thing with Gary Wilson would be your draft pick and your free agent signing to be the draft capital because you're not getting Gary Wilson for a 2nd or a 3rd. You're gonna get Gary Wilson. You're going to get him for a first, and to do that, you're going to be that means you're saying that's your draft pick and your free agent. So it'll be 2-1. It'll definitely be 2-1. But now we're gonna have to. But one, we know for a fact that we're playing playoff football. So kind of similar to was it 19 season? No, 18. 2018 season. When Willa got hurt, Will Fuller tore his ACL in the Miami game against Miami on Thursday Night Football, right before the trade deadline. We went out there, we traded for Demaryius Thomas to the Denver Broncos. We had Demaryius Thomas for a couple games, and then Demaryius Thomas got hurt with like 2 games before the playoffs. Because the games before the playoffs, we played the last 3 games that season were the Jets on Saturday, a Saturday game against the Jets, a Sunday game at Philly, and then we played Jacksonville. We also played Jacksonville to end off the season, and Demaryius Thomas I think got hurt in that Jets game. I think Demaryius Thomas got hurt in that Jets game, and we didn't have Demaryius Thomas. I know he was. Either he got hurt in that Jets game or he got hurt early on in that either he got hurt in that Jets game or he got hurt early on in that Eagles game, because I know for the majority of the Eagles game he wasn't there. I don't remember if he was there at the beginning because he couldn't play in the beginning. So either he got hurt in that either got hurt in that Jets game or he got hurt in that Eagles game. I can't remember exactly when he actually got hurt. All in all, I know we got to the playoffs and we went to the playoffs with just Hopkins and Kiki QT. That was it. We had no other receiver on the board. I think Vincent Smith was our other receiver. Like, it just wasn't any type of talent out there. And Hop was playing on the bum shoulder. Hop had a bum shoulder. So going into that game. And that shades to this. You lost Stephon Diggs. Now you've lost Tank. So now you're going in with just Nico. And Messi really ain't been showing you nothing. I mean, I'm happy that Messi had got that one touchdown. Messi hasn't really shown anything. Hudson hasn't really shown anything. Robert Woods is old. Like, we need other receiving help. I know people talk about OBJ, talking about Deontay Johnson. Somebody has to be brought into this building. Now, I don't know what that's going to help and do for you Wednesday. Like, really, what you got now is really what you're going to have on Wednesday. I doubt that because anybody that you bring in, they're not going to know the offense well enough to go out there and do anything on Wednesday. They're not going to be able to do anything on Wednesday. They're not going to be able to do anything on Wednesday. And shout out to that boy Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Why did Hunt make that touchdown he could have had made? That would have received a block, but slide. KC is 13-1 team, and it didn't make 30 points. Yeah, I know they haven't scored. I think they like the only team that had points, if I'm not mistaken. I think KC's the only team this year that has 30 points, and also coming into this season, not coming to the season, coming to this game, Kansas City Chiefs offense has scored a total of 329 points. And the Texans offense they scored 228, and the Texans has scored 227. Coming into this game, they scored more points than the Texans offense. Now, we've had, 2 30-point games? The game against the Patriots and against Dallas. Now, granted, that one against Dallas was a defensive touchdown too. Yeah, this KC offense. I mean, the reason why he didn't score that touchdown because he was just trying to they just want to milk out the clock, just slide and milk out the clock. That's all they want. They just want to milk out the clock. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. It really wasn't. To them, it wasn't that big of a deal. They just want to win. 13 wins. They want one. All they need is one win against either Denver at the end of the season or Pittsburgh on Christmas Day, and they will have the home advantage. And they have the home field advantage. They're going to the Super Bowl. KC's going to Super. If KC does not have to go on the road, KC will be going to. Why go waste some timeouts? D'Amico didn't waste some timeouts. I mean, he was just trying. He was calling timeouts on the front side of the 2-minute warning, and basically Casey doing that because I mean they basically was like, hey, we gonna make them use all their time before 2-minute warning. Once they get rid of the timeouts, we're gonna get the first down. Then it's gonna be us. We're gonna be able to do whatever we gonna be able to do all we need to do. So that's what they did. They just Texans to use their timeouts in front of the 2-minute warning. It didn't matter if they was using them in front of the 2-minute warning or after 2-minute warning. They were gonna use up their timeouts. So they didn't waste them. Now I think one timeout we ended up wasting because uh a delay again. And on the last drive, we had back to not the last drive, but the last time we scored. The last time we scored, when we kicked the field goal. We had back to back. Not back to back, but you had two. Not false starts, but delay of games on the same drive. Like you're a professional offense in crucial moment in the fourth quarter. That in the fourth quarter, down by was it 5? No, was it 5 at that point? Because yeah, the score was 24 to 16. Score 20. You're down 24 to 16 in the fourth. Why are you out there having delay of games? And I said this early on this season, the Texans offense don't have a sense of urgency. They don't have a sense of urgency. Like they move just very lackadaisical. Very just they just move just very lackadaisical. Why? Like why? Y'all just move just very lackadaisical. Just okay, we're okay. Like they no sense of urgency at all. And you had two on the same drive delay games. Cost you 5 yards. Like what? Like what is y'all doing? I'm like move. Well, what you guys used to say on NFL Countdown? Tick, 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 tick. Like where's the internal clock in your head? Like, hey, we need to pick up the pace. Let's get this moving. You're down 24 to 16 at Arrowhead in the fourth quarter, under 10 minutes to go. You're driving the football. You're moving the football. Why do you have two delayed games? Why are you having two delayed games? And then like for a team that really wasn't having injuries, I'm glad you just mentioned that. For a team that really wasn't having injuries, like the injuries lately have started to mount up, and especially with this like condensed schedule with these 3 games in 4 weeks, or I mean 4 weeks, 3 games in a 10-day span. When you out here, like you lose Jimmy Ward, you lose Shaq Mason, you've already lost Jalen Petrie. You lost Aziz to a suspension. You've already lost Stephon Diggs. Like you just move. And actually, to be honest, the offensive line with and this happened last year. The offensive line was a makeshift offensive line. You starters. That's actually when they played their best. The offensive line played its best last year when Tunsil and Titus wasn't out there. Like when it was just basically just a makeshift offensive line. That's when the offensive line was playing at its best last year. This year, we had our starting offensive line, and it looked rough for the majority of the season. The starting offensive lines was look rough. Today, against Chris Jones and all of them, CJ only had 2 sacks at the end of the game. One was his fault because he scrambled and he took on to make a decision to get rid of the football, and he decided to scramble and went out of bounds. The other one was on the last drive where when it was a corner blitz. I think it was a corner blitz, and no one's recognizing it. But for the most part, the offense protection held up. Joe Mixon had 4.1 yards to carry. Like Joe Mixon was running the ball pretty decently. Now some of them plays of his own. Like it was one play that he actually should have got stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and he makes a move and he darts and gets. Did he get first down? I think he got first down. There was another play where he actually made a move and was able to get just positive yards in general. So I mean, sometimes it was Joe Mixon, like I said ad nauseum that is more Joe Mixon than us having a good running game. Joe Mixon's the one out there making the plays, not really like because we don't coach it well, we don't scheme it well, call it well, we don't block it well. So yeah, see, is his ankle? Yeah, because Mitchie I don't think Mitchie went to the game. I don't think Mitchie flew to KC today. I don't believe Mitchie flew to say flew to KC. Uh, I do think that it has been cemented. Um, unless the Texans just go on a crazy run and get to and win a Super Bowl, or I don't think that Bobby's going to be here next year. I think I said this last week. Well, I was talking to somebody last week rather, and when you listen to D'Amico's press conferences and talk about the offense, he seems frustrated. Previously, he was just talking and like, "Oh, we know what the defense we got to do this and the offense, man, they do well and they give us enough points to win." He said all that just coaches speak. Still saying similar things, but his voice and the way he speaks about it is different. And I've been saying it now in the A, unless it's from a higher up, unless it's Nick, or if it's CJ that's like, hey, you got to do something with Bobby. I don't think D'Amico was going to make a decision. I kind of feel slightly different now. Now, I do think if Bobby gets a big offensive explosion game, like on Wednesday against the Ravens, because the Ravens have a bad defense. If CJ go out there and has a if CJ goes out there and has a Tampa Bay game, then that could save Bobby. Because I can see D'Amico be like, he had this good game right here. We can build on that. But I'm starting to feel a little bit differently because of, like I said, the way he's talking about the offense. Even though he's saying the same things, it's the way he's saying it. I feel slightly different. I do. I feel slightly different about how D'Amico Ryan feels about this offense, or at least the way this offense is going. Now it's going to be even more tough hill, tough pill, even more tough hill to climb with no longer having Tank. So now your only outside threat is Nico Collins. That's it. Your Nico Collins is completely your only outside threat. That's it. He's your only outside threat. Nico Collins is your only outside threat. That's it. None whatsoever. You don't have no other outside threat. Shout out that boy Chris for Super Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. You still believe in CJ is elite like Burrow and Allen? Yeah. Yeah. I still believe I still believe that in CJ. Like I still do. Again, I think that having a sophomore slump. He definitely is. He's definitely having a sophomore slump. I mean, you're not. I mean, it is what it is. Um, Something that we thought that he wasn't gonna have. I know when people were saying that during the off season, I did snarf at that. Because I'm like the offense actually made adjustments as far as they were going out there. They went and got Stephon Diggs. They went and got Joe Mixon, things like that. But he's not having a sophomore slump the way traditional sophomores happen. Because a lot of times, obviously, the defenses, the teams, they make adjustments because they got the game film, which, like I said, everybody got game film. I mean, you had game film after the first 10 games, there was game film on them. You had some tape. So the game film, but you have to also offensively make adjustments. They did personnel wise, but Bobby doesn't adjust. Like how Bobby says, I was surprised to be seeing them to run so much cover two. Like, why wouldn't you think they're gonna run like stuff like that? Stuff like that. Now, CJ has to be better than a lot of things because the first interception, both his interceptions were dumb. The first interception was going into double coverage over Nico. I know you. I see you. I know you have Nico. I know what you feel about Nico. I feel that Nico is their guy receiver as well. That just a smart decision. And that's what I'm talking about when I say defenses take away deep shots. Because I know I had this conversation months ago in the beginning of the season saying that, hey, the defense is not letting you throw deep against them. People vilified me talking about I didn't know what I was talking about. The defense can't take away Nico Collins. The defense can't take away Nico Collins. Nico Collins that good. Defense can't take away Nico Collins. The only player can stop Nico Collins is Bobby Slowik. That's not what I meant. What I meant is there's guys going to be in there. They're not having single high safeties. It's going to be guys in that area that's going to be able to stop the defense, to make you think, to make you double clutch, to make you look up and make you, okay, let me go. That's what I'm talking about. Taking away Nico Collins running deep. Not that the defense is out there just completely like, oh, Nico, you can't run deep today. I didn't say that. No, because Nico can bust that coverage open. I get that. But you having people in the facility, the quarterback, think twice about that. That's what I was talking about. And that was a decision where, hey, don't throw that, CJ, don't throw it. Don't throw that. He threw it anyway. It was an interception on the first drive. Then the other one, when you have the field goal in your back pocket, you're right there, you're in field goal range. You're just trying to get rid of the football. And I think he was trying to get rid of the football. Once again, throwing in the Nico's ear. I mean, and we're going to call it spade a spade. We talked about Tua throwing 2 picks distinctly when he was trying to throw the Tyreek Hill. I think even the one to Kalen Bullock, I think that one, I think Tyreek Hill was the intended receiver on that play as well. But hey, we talked about that. We talked taking away Tyreek Hill. Sting was able to get 2 interceptions. Hey, was good for the goose, was good for the gander. Both interceptions that CJ threw today, he was throwing towards 12. I do think the last one he was trying to get rid of it because the pressure was coming. He got to do a better job at getting rid of the football. That's what that is. You got to do a better job at getting rid of the football. Like, you can't just do that. You can't just do that. You got to do a better. Those are those are growing pains. Those are young quarterbacks making young mistakes like that, and you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that. But to my point, the question you Chris asked earlier, do I still say yes? Because like after the game on that second to last drive with 13-15, how he scrambles out of the pocket, finds Dalton Schultz, dump it off to Dalton Schultz, and Dalton Schultz has an easy first down. There was another play where he stopped and came back and threw over to Hutchinson. It was a beautiful pass over to Hudson. Hudson catch the football on the sideline. The one pass he had to the Tank. The touchdown that he threw the Tank. The touchdown that he threw the Tank, and that's the reason why I blame Bobby. He threw it to where only Tank can catch it, or it was out of bounds. It was a perfect pass. The problem is that you had another receiver in the vicinity. That's why it was a problem. And it could have been an interception because that receiver brings over his defense into that field of play. So he had good play. The touchdown that he had to Dalton Schultz when he's scrambling out of the pocket and dumps it over to Dalton Schultz. The one pass that he has to Nico when he gets the first down, I think that was on the second to last drive as well, where he looked like he was about to run, but I'm like, hey, CJ, run the football. Say you need to pull a pass Mahomes, run the football. And he could have ran the football. It was like third and whatever. He could have ran the football. He only would have got like 6 yards on that. He throws the football and gets the football. He throws the football and gets a first down to Nico Collins. So you've seen a lot of great moments. You've seen a lot of great moments, and they're not far in between. And they're like the little things. Because people always talk about like the touchdowns. Like people talk about like, oh, we see flashes and Will Levis, hey, he threw 4 touchdowns. Yeah, he's very boom or bust, and mostly same thing with AR. Oh, AR throws a 75-yard touchdown to AD Mitchell. Yes, he can do that, but he's very boom or bust. Neither one of those quarterbacks make those small good plays. Those small plays, and CJ does it. That's why people marveled at CJ Stroud rookie year. Why people, even though CJ has 11 picks this year, people still marvel at what CJ does. Like, that's why, like, real football people still marvel at CJ. The only ones who talk about they losing faith in CJ and stuff like that is because they don't understand the small, minute things that go in playing the position, the small, minute things that go into playing football. Half of them ain't never play football for real. That's why they don't be knowing this stuff. They don't be playing football for real. They just get on the internet talking, texting, tweeting, snapping. Some of them get on camera and say, but they ain't never really played the sport for real. So they don't understand those little small things. And those are the things that had people go so gaga. Oh, we seen guys like Baker Mayfield break the touchdown rookie. We seen guys have just magical statistical seasons. We seen Jameis Winston throw for 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. Blake Bortles throw for 34 touchdowns. It was I think like 4,400 yards. We seen that. Ain't nobody not once said something about either one of them. It's the small mind. It's the play in the position. It's the quarterback. That's what got people so enamored with CJ, and why I do believe that. Hey, yeah, CJ still that dude, bro. CJ still that playmaker. Like I said, when he threw that touchdown to the Dolphins and went like this, he knew it was up. He knew it was up because that was a good play by him. A good play by him. Shout out that boy Chris once again for Super Chat. Definitely appreciate that. You realize Mahomes ankle limp the whole game. Man, ain't nothing wrong with Mahomes, bro. Like Mahomes has an ankle injury every single year around this time. Every single year he's had an ankle injury. Outside, the only year he didn't have an ankle injury was his first MVP season before he won Super Bowl. He got hurt with his ankle. Now he did miss time his first Super Bowl. He did miss time. He had an ankle injury the second year. Uh, um, had ankle injury. When they beat Jacksonville, he had an ankle injury. He had an ankle injury last year. I ain't gonna lie. They won against Jacksonville. He had an ankle injury against the Bengals. The ankle injury against Jacksonville. I actually think something really was there. Because his leg, his leg did move. That one looked bad. Like that one did look bad. But and like I say, the first one, his first Super Bowl back in 2019, because he actually missed that one. Like he missed, I think he missed like 2 games. Cause he missed the game against the Packers, and then he missed another game too. He missed like 1 or 2 games in that 2019 season. So that one was a legit one. I think this is like Patrick Mahomes' mystique. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what that is. Like it's the whole Patrick Mahomes mystique, the aura. Oh man, Patrick Mahomes such a warrior. He goes out there. He go. They were talking about it on what's that show with James Jones and Acho and Shay McCoy and Chase Daniels. It was talking about now, but talking about, we seen him win a Super Bowl on a bum ankle. Like that's what he does. Like all just continuously just going out there and just glossing over all the things that they're just so ignored with Patrick Mahomes winning all these games with these bum ankles. And I know we lost, but I'm still gonna talk about this because it still irritates me. Like on that show specific, like Shady McCoy. Now again, can't say he won. They won the game. I do believe a lot of it got to do with the rest, but they did. I digress. Can't say he won the game. Like Shady was talking real greasy about this game in the Texans to the point where he was like, he looked at Acho and Chase Daniels was like, y'all think the Texans like that? Like they regular. Y'all think they like that? That defense, yes. They lose too many games. They lose too many games to be like that. Like they lose too many games. They got the same record as the Ravens. They 9-5. Like what you talking about? They got the same. They 9-5. And he was talking like of the Texans franchise about like how like about the Texans franchise. He's talking about because when we see the Texans on the schedule, we know that's a stat game right there. The Texans. Oh, we play the Texans. Shit. Oh, that's a stat game. And I'm like, say for real. While the Texans were a franchise, that's actually when the Texans were good. Like that's actually like the golden era of the Texans, if you will. That's the like Gary Kubiak seasons and the Bill O'Brien seasons where we had like the #1 defense. Um, so you were in Philly. I don't know. I'm trying to think when he leave Philly. I think maybe in 14. He's as an Eagle, and then after that he played us in Buffalo, and we beat him. Like, so all this like stat padding, like, because when you was in Buffalo, we beat you a couple times actually. Now, and when you was in Kansas City, because he wants to bring, like, again, hey, bring up the 24-0 game. Yeah, coach. Last time I played the Texans, they was up 24-0 on us. And Mahomes like, watch this. And we went out there and won the game. Okay, hey, and it wasn't even close. The game. I can't say nothing about that. But what I will say is this, bro, you ain't played. Like, you bragging about Kansas City coming back 24-0, granted you was on the team, is like David Carr bragging that he beat the undefeated Patriots and won the Super Bowl. He on the team. He got a Super Bowl ring. David Carr don't need to talk about beating the 07 Patriots. He don't need to talk about beating the 07 Patriots. Carson Wentz don't need to talk about beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like that's what you're talking about. That's what you're talking about. That's exactly what you're doing, the exact same thing. You ain't played. Yeah, you do 2 little cheap Super Bowl rings because you got one in Kansas City, you got the other one in Tampa Bay the following year. You got you 2 Super Bowl, yeah. So technically, you're a Super Bowl champion. Nobody even knows until y'all probably just don't know until I just said that LaShawn McCoy got 2 Super Bowl championships. One with Kansas City and one with Tampa Bay in 2019 and 2020. Y'all probably didn't even know that until I just said that. Everybody looks at you as a Philadelphia Eagle and a Buffalo Bill. But I digress. But it was just that he was just talking just real greasy. I don't know what we're gonna do Wednesday. I don't, because we're going to find out something offensively. We're going to find out something offensively. Or I don't know what we're gonna do, y'all. I don't know what we're gonna do offensively. Like, we got to find out something. I mean, they Ravens don't really have that good of a defense. Rest the team. Rest the team and just stay at the 4 seed. Shout out to Chris for Super Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. He said Texans 13, Ravens 38. I mean, if they rest the starters, I think that'd be the scope. Uh, I feel like this. If you concede to the 4th seed, I feel like this. If you just concede to the 4th seed, you basically conceded to yourself that, hey, we're not gonna do no more than what the Texans are, because you're gonna be conceding yourself to going back to Kansas City. You're gonna be conceding because like because you're gonna be the 4th seed and you're going to go back to, like, even if you win the wild card game versus like the Ravens or the Chargers, or actually it'll be the Ravens. You'll be playing the Ravens because the Ravens will have the 5 seed. The Ravens definitely will have the 5 seed because the Ravens actually have the tiebreaker over Chargers and the Denver Broncos. They beat both of them, so they will have the 5th seed. So that means you'll be the 4th seed. That means you'll be playing the Ravens again. You'll be playing. That means you're making your road Baltimore and Kansas City, home against Baltimore and then at Kansas City. That is definitely your role going to that game. Why not 19 today? They will do. Why not? They made 19 today. They do even better. Shout out to Chris for Super Chat Love. Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like actually no 13 is low. Outside of the Jets and the what other game was that? The Jets game and the what other game? 7 points in Minnesota. Both of those games we only scored 7 points. And again, their defenses, but the Ravens' defense, especially their secondary, is not good. They don't have a good secondary. I think Nico get, and then Nico didn't play in that Jets game, and the offensive line was just playing so bad for all the penalties in that Minnesota game. I just think that offensively we're gonna do way better. But shout out Chris for Super Chat Love. Definitely appreciate that. Hey, bro, you right. You right, bro. Them refs in Kansas City. Like I said, I don't never talk about me. There'd be bad calls, games here and there. I might say something about, man, that's an egregious call. That was a bad call. But like KC, they got the refs on payroll. They really like the Chiefs. They got the refs on payroll. Like this is just some bad officiating. I think even Jason Whitlock, who claims to be a Kansas City Chief fan, said, "Hey, this is bad out there for Houston. Like this is just bad. Like it's just bad, man. It's just bad. It's bad." Man, they did something. I mean, I know this is kind of like it's to me. It's really not revisionist history because I felt they should have did something after the before the trade deadline anyway. Because Stephon Diggs got hurt 2 weeks before the trade deadline. You had a game on Thursday, and the trade deadline was Tuesday. So you was off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then all day Tuesday. Well, with the 3 o'clock Tuesday, you had 5 days. You had 5 days to do something, and they did nothing. So, and now you stuck with Nico Collins and Robert Woods, Xavier Hudson, because I don't know what Mitch. I don't know what they're gonna be able to do about Mitchie. Oh, and people's getting on to about some crime. This is the thing. This is the thing here, man. Like one, that's his boy. That's his friend. That's his boy. That's his best friend on the team. Like his best friend on the team. And Tank been through a lot this whole season anyway. I mean, he got hurt last year. Him getting shot. Just be able to step out there and be able to do like what they thought they was gonna do. And CJ, I think threw a great put the football right where it needed to be, dropped it right in the bucket to Tank. Uh, he feels guilty about it. He feels guilty about it. And we've all been there. Like everybody and we've all been something's happened at some point and you always second guess. Man, if I wouldn't have went to the store that night. Man, if I would have just come home 5 minutes earlier. Man, if I would have called in. Man, if I would have whatever. If I would have picked up the phone. We've all had those moments. Had multiple moments, way more than we want to happen. Like I'm just talking about like, oh, one more. No, we've had those moments several times that we second guess things, and that's what he was doing. He like, if I want to throw that, man, I know we need to score, but man, if I would through the lead, if I would through the check down, if I would scramble, like that's what he's thinking about initially, and like he was hurt about because he felt like he feels partially to blame for it. Um, he was in number 14 that was in the area. He feels responsible for it. They feel responsible. Again, I think Bobby's the one who's ultimately for it. Uh, Everybody just feel bad about it. Now, granted, I do think that CJ. I wanted CJ to compose himself because he was losing it. He was losing it. He was losing it. He was losing it. And hey, bro, I need you to be. I need to be. Like, no, I need you to be strong. You the quarterback. Hey, hey, like, you gotta shake off. You gotta shake off. Cause we need you to go out there and lead us into this battle. We need you to go because we don't need you going out. We don't need you out there playing sad. Now we need you to take that, bottle it up, and go out there and dice up this defense. That's what we need. And like I said, I laid out that last drive right before the draft. I tweeted out, "This is your moment. This is it." And we wasn't able to accomplish it. Like I said, I think that really got us to be the third seed. I'm the third seed. Got I think that squandered the opportunity to be the third seed. It's not completely shut, but your best chance of it. Because if you would have won this game, all you needed was another win and a Pittsburgh loss, and you'd be the third seed. Now you have to win both games, and now Pittsburgh has to lose 2 games. So all you needed was 2 wins. All you needed was 2 wins and a Pittsburgh loss, and you would have been good. Now you have to win these 2 games, and Pittsburgh has to lose 2. So it squandered opportunity. It did. Um, but it is what it is. Hey man, appreciate everybody that came through here. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give you some time. Make sure you hit the like button. If you ain't hit the like button already, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give y'all some time. Appreciate that, man. Shout out to everybody that came out here. Shout out to everybody hit the super chat love. Definitely appreciate the super chat love. Y'all know how much that means to me. Definitely appreciate y'all hitting that super chat love. Definitely that. Appreciate everybody that came through here. Yeah, hit that like button, like you said. Make the like button. Uh, Texans falls to Kansas City, 27-19. We will go against on Christmas Day. I will Christmas Eve. I will go live. I know I was supposed to go live today. My intentions was I had to do some last minute shopping. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had to do some last minute shopping, so wasn't able to make it back to the crib in time to go live. We'll go live before the game, Christmas Eve. I will go live. And I'm gonna go live after the game. So we'll go live before the game and go live go live the day before the game on Christmas Eve, and I'm gonna go live after the game. So you right here, we're gonna break down what we just seen and also prepare ourselves for the game against Baltimore. And we're gonna see exactly if any moves have been made to bolster the receiver position, if they're able to make any moves, and will they even be contributors. Uh, I know this was bad, especially losing Tank. I think the loss of Tank hurts more than the actual loss. But hey, we gotta get back and see what's going on. Man, appreciate everybody came through here. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you click that bell videos. Holla.